Good morning friends, welcome to Sharekhan pre-market roundup. Firstly on the global markets, yesterday when we closed, most of the European markets were trading by around 2.5 to 3% across the board, whereas the American markets were showing a negative opening, whereas the American future markets were showing a negative opening for Dow Jones and Nasdaq by around 2 to 2.5%. And finally by the end of the day, the European markets closed down by 2.5 to 3% across the board, whereas the American markets tanked further and closed down around 3% for Dow Jones, that is down around 490 points, and the S&P and Nasdaq as well closing down around 3%. Coming to our markets, there was some up move in the early morning session, but finally by the end of the day we lost around 200 points on Nifty, around 600 points on Sensex. This was mainly because of the banking stocks which fell by around anywhere from 3 to 5% or 7% across the board, with Bank Nifty itself falling by around 4%. Yesterday FIIs in cash market were buy around 670, sell around 675 crore rupees, whereas FIIs in index futures were also sell around 690 crore rupees. Domestic institutional investors were buy around 680 crore rupees in cash market. Also yesterday the Chinese PMI data came in which was below expectation, and because of that there is some further, because of all these factors there is some further pressure for Asian markets, with Asia trading mixed right now, with Nikkei being the only market in Asia which is trading in green. As per SGX code, we are expecting a flattish opening for Nifty, maybe up by around 20-25 points at around 7825 levels. Now let's have an update on derivatives.
Good morning friends, we'll give analysis on derivatives. In yesterday's market, we have seen in line with the negative cues from the international markets, our market opened with a gap down of around 70-80 points, and thereby it after breaching all of the major supports, Nifty continued to show selling pressure throughout the day and remained in the negative territory with a negative breadth, as majority of the large cap stocks ended with a sharp loss of around 2 to 4 odd percentage, and also even more. There was a mixed kind of cues where we have seen a disappointing GDP data, and also with a selling pressure which was seen in the international markets, due to which our market also reacted negatively and closed below 7,800, that is 7798.80, with a sharp cut of around 2.5%. Now we did suggested in yesterday's trade that VWAP level of 7940 was quite crucial, and Nifty did sustain below that 7940 for more than an hour, and after that we have seen a constant selling pressure for our market. On the open interest terms, there was hardly any build-up in open interest. There was a bit surprising where we have not seen much of addition in Nifty especially. However, Bank Nifty continues to add significant amount of build-up in open interest. Has seen an addition of around 14-15 odd percentage in yesterday's trade in Bank Nifty, while in Nifty we have not seen any much addition. Just 1% addition, that is around 2 lakh shares were added in open interest. Of course, with decrease in cost of carry, with decrease from around 5.5% to 2.5%, Nifty premium did came down from 28 odd points premium to currently just 15 odd points only. The put call ratio was also surprising despite a sharp fall which we have seen in yesterday's trade. We have not seen a major decrease in put call ratio. It just decreased by 1 basis point from 1.03 to 1.02. Both the parameters of derivatives, that is the put call ratio and even in the open interest terms, do suggest that there was not much of accumulation of short positions which was seen by markets in this kind of a level. Indian volatility index, with market going such a sharp cut of around 2.5%, we have seen volatility index increasing by 17%, which was quite sharp increase which we have seen in yesterday's trade, and it settled at 28.72. Now the options activity, 8,000 and 8,200 call option have seen a highest addition in yesterday's trade. 8,000 call option have seen an addition of 18%, followed by 8,200 call option seen an addition of around 12.5%. However, 8,500 still remains as the highest in terms of open interest for this series in call option. While in put option, 7,800 put option still remains as the highest. Now, despite market going below 7,800, we have not seen much of reduction in 7,800 strike price. However, till yesterday, 8,000 put option was highest in terms of open interest, and the initial hour of the trade only we have started seeing an unwinding in 8,000 put option, which clearly indicated that market could see a further sell-off in an intraday basis. However, in yesterday's trade, we have not seen any reduction of 7,800 despite market closing below that level. So in today's trade, however, we have been opening on some kind of a positive note due to the positive news of FII's tax-related issues, and also and despite negative cues from the international market, we are opening on a positive note. So the activity in 7,800 put option would be very crucial to watch out for, and unwinding can further trigger in the can further see a sell-off, or we might see on the best case scenario that Nifty can see some kind of consolidation at this level only for an intraday basis. However, for a position basis, the sentiments are still weak. And followed by 7,500, 7,600 put option have seen some kind of addition of around 10 to 12% that is indicating the position are now getting shifted to the lower strike price from higher strike price. I know securities in bank period for today's trade on FIS terms and index futures, they were net sellers by 697 crores. They were net buyers of 2 consecutive days in index futures, but that did not resulted in any kind of a meaningful upside in the market, and they have squared off their long positions a bit in yesterday's trade since they were net sellers by 698 odd crores and open interest hardly inched up. Index options, they were net buyers of 818 odd crores, stock futures net sellers of 192 crores, and stock options net buyers of 66 crores only. For our market level, our 5 days we have stands at 7920. It's quite away from the market, and the lower range is at 7637. 7637 is a lower break-even point of the lowest straddle break-even point for this month. So in the coming trading sessions, watch out for this level if Nifty sees the further downside. While in the higher range, it's at our VWAP level, that is 7920. SX Nifty is trading a bit flat, it's just up by 20 points at 7809.40. That's it from derivatives, thank you.
Now let's have a look at some of the trading ideas for the day. The first idea being Crompton Greaves. Crompton Greaves is by the prestigious order from Korea Electric Power Corporation, that is KEPCO, the largest electricity utility of South Korea and responsible for 93% of Korea's electricity generation. Action to be taken in Crompton is long Crompton with a stop at 162.6 for a target of 171 and 174. The next idea being InfoEdge. InfoEdge has got RBI nod to a foreign holding capped to 50%. Zomato is also in talks. Zomato is a subsidiary of InfoEdge, is also in advanced discussion to raise a new round of funding worth somewhere between $60 million to 80 million to be led by Singapore's private equity firm Temasek Holdings. Also, Zomato has done a tie-up or has picked up stake in Pikingo and Grab, which will be servicing orders for restaurants. So currently, the restaurants which are still not in ordering and home delivery mode will come into this segment via Zomato. Action to be taken is long InfoEdge with a stop at 731 for a target of 768 and 783. Max India is in talks with PE firm to sell 22% stake in Max Life Insurance. The stake sale would fetch anywhere around 4,000 crore rupees, which would value the company at anywhere from 16,000 crore rupees to 18,000 crore rupees worth. Long Max India with a stop at 476 for a target of 500 and 510. On some important news flow, yesterday government has accepted EP Shah panel's report, which states that no retrospective MAT on FIIs, FPIs, but foreign companies are excluded from this. Infosys had said that rupee depreciation should see positive impact of 60 bps on operating margins. Government has raised important tariff on gold to 369 per 10 grams. Import tariff on gold to $369 per 10 grams. Bank of Baroda to allot shares to government at rupees 192.74 per share. Bank of Maharashtra to raise up to rupees 394 crore by way of preferential allotment to Government of India. DLF shareholders have approved resolution to create large lien or charge lien or pledge on its over 50% shares in 3 subsidiaries holding rental commercial assets for raising up to 7,500 crore rupees. Jindal Steel is shutting down coal mine in Australia due to significant financial losses and operational difficulties. Coal India has recorded an output of 36.21 million tons, and by doing this, it has missed the target by 3.82%. GE Alstom are ahead in race for bagging locomotive projects in Bihar. Opto Circuit has deferred GDR issue on market conditions till further notice. And TCS has set up a Japanese-centric delivery center in Pune. Petronet LNG has sought approval of its shareholders to increase the investment limit for foreign institutional investors to 30% from current 24%. Also, Petronet LNG is also seeking shareholders' approval to raise up to 1,000 crore rupees via non-convertible debentures. Welspun Corp plans to raise up to rupees 500 crore rupees via securities. Punj Lloyd, as per media reports, has said that the company is planning to invest rupees 2,000 crore to expand Gwalior manufacturing unit. The development is positive for Punj Lloyd. Prabhat Devi has deferred its IPO closure date and also has cut the price band to 115 to 126, with retail getting a discount of 5 rupees a share. Yesterday, auto sales number came in. Firstly, for the two-wheeler segment, Eicher two-wheeler has gone up to 42,360 from 26,653, which is up 49%. For Ashok Leyland, the number is up 38.6%. For Eicher CV sales, it's up 19.3%. Ssangyong up 10.3%. Maruti up 6.4%. M&M up 5.7%. TVS Motor almost flattish. Tata Motors almost flattish, but in negative. Hero Motors down 14% and Escorts down 33.7%. On the stocks, positive buyers are Ajanta Pharma, Just Dial and Sun Pharma. Stocks for investment are Aditya Birla Nuvo, HDFC Bank, M&M, TCS and Ultratech. Thanks and bye. Have a nice evening session.